heavy enough to save a life in the winter, slung casually over the left shoulder in summer, as if daring the world to notice. Tight-fitting breeches sculpted by hours in the saddle. Boots polished, yet scarred. Mud, frost, and blood have left their mark. A 1777 pattern saber rests at your side, curved like a crescent moon. Saddle. It happened not gradually, not ceremonially. One moment, you were a boy chasing reputation. The next, you were cavalry. Elevated above dust, above fear, above hesitation. The horse beneath you trembled with impatience. Muscles coiled like springs, ready to uncoil at your slightest signal. Fruit. A Hussar outruns it. 1796, Italy. The first glimpse of Lombardy is unreal. Sunlight pours across fields as if painted by a meticulous hand. Vineyards stretch in perfect rows. Cypress trees stand as silent sentinels. Church bells ripple across the city like heralds of crushed herbs from market stalls. Sweat, leather, and incense drifting from shaded doorways. The city rises like a living engraving, precise, elegant, almost impossible. Yet nothing stands still.
Elixir. Now,
vendors
patience,
shout over baskets of fruit.
There's no time, my men are
Children
dying.
dart through soldiers without fear, fascinated by plumes and An old man curses under his breath. Then you see her, Anna Maria. Beside the fountain, she speaks calmly with an elderly woman about chamomile. Her voice measured, quiet, dress simple. Posture upright without pride. Dark hair gathered neatly, no ribbons, no jewels, only clarity. Her hands grind powders, turn pages. Her father owns the apothecary on the corner. Shelves climb from floor to ceiling, crowded with glass bottles, clear, amber, green-holding oils, powders, tinctures, crushed leaves, preserved roots. Labels in careful script. Mortar worn smooth. The scent is lavender, alcohol, rose sabering in sunlight. Horses screaming. Confusion ending abruptly. She looks at your uniform, at your boots, at the saber. Finally, at your face. You're all the same, she says. Cutting linen with precise hands. You arrive, and then you leave. No anger, no accusation. Only certainty, curiosity. The third habit. Weeks stretch into months. Patrols become routine. Milan, once temporary, transforms into fragile pause. You begin visiting during quiet hours. She reads when business thins. Italian, French, philosophy, poetry. Margins scribbled. Of hooves striking earth in unison. Of the metallic hum of sabers cutting through air. She listens without admiration, but she listens. You teach her to disassemble a pistol. She handles it carefully. You teach her to clean flint and barrel. She teaches you grammar, corrects your letters, rewrites your clumsy phrases. The rooftop. Tiles warm beneath hands. Sky dissolves from gold into violet, then into endless blue. Carts rumble below. Children cry, neighbors argue, somewhere laughter, somewhere stillness. You rest your head in her lap. For the first time in years, you do not calculate distance. You do not. 1797.
I can take
Orders at dawn.
Thank you. There.
Sealed.
Change it
brief,
tonight. Yes,
unyielding. Anna Maria grips your hand tighter than you ever held reins. Will you come back? Of course, you are both lying. You march away with the army of Napoleon Bonaparte. Columns move like living tides. Drums beat into blood. Flags snap. Morning mist, blankets fields. Sun pierces fog, turning it molten gold. Officers shout, horses tremble, drums insist. The charge begins. Hooves, thunder, steel flashes, breath burns, heart
Easy
screams.
now, boy. We have to get
For
up.
a heartbeat, you feel immortal.
That's it. Let's move.
Afterward, silence lies heavy over the broken field. Echo like distant bells. You do not write of blood. Months later, a letter arrives. In spitty lavender, pressed carefully. Faded, still fragrant. You carry it close.
Soldiers advance and hold
War
the line.
moves not in straight lines. It circles, advances, retreats, repeats itself under new names, but familiar screams. One learn to measure time, not by seasons, but by campaigns. Letters become your only anchor. Her handwriting steadies you more than any command ever could. She writes of small things, the price of flour, her father's cough in winter. A new shipment of dried sage from the countryside. She writes of books she has finished, of ideas argues silence sound like after cannon fire. You answer carefully. You do not write about the faces of the dead. You write about the horizon. You write about wind. You write about dawn breaking innocent over fields that hours later will become hell. 1807, Friedland. The air is thick before the battle. Your horse collapses beneath you, shattered by shot. You hit the ground hard. For a moment, sound ceases, leaving only the ringing inside your head. You try to stand. Leg refuses. Pain flares. Blood mingles with mud. Around you, men scream. Friends vanish. Smoke swallows everything. Patiently, without comfort. Scar maps your body. Limp begins subtle, then permanent, a reminder that speed has limits. Years compress. Promotions arrive and vanish. New recruits arrive, bright-eyed, and leave quieter, if they leave at all. Europe becomes measured in exhaustion. Rivers crossed at dawn, towns in. The Grande Armée stretches beyond sight, columns of men, horses, cannons, wagons. The horizon is endless. Confidence thick in the air. You distrust belief. You cross the Nieman River at sunrise. Water mirrors, helmets, horse heads, banners, snapping. Officers speak confidently. Days grow longer, distances expand. Villages abandoned before you arrive. Wells dry, barns empty. Enemy retreats without surrendering land. Smolensk burns. Flames climb rooftops. Smoke blackens sky. Civilians flee, faces hollow. You write that night. You do not write of the followed by smoke. Cannon fire erases silence. Horses scream. Men vanish, mid-cry. You charge because orders demand it. You swing because your body remembers. Friends vanish. Death passes as if testing you. At night, beside a tiny fire, you write with trembling fingers. If I returned, silence reigns. Fires bloom across rooftops, sky glowing red, victory feels hollow. Winter arrives, snow soft at first, then merciless. Retreat begins with resignation, not trumpets. Hunger gnaws, frost bites, fingers and toes. Men collapse quietly. Some do not rise, leaning on each other. Columns shrink each day. Then the Berezina ice cracks under weight. Screams pierce frozen air. Bridges sag, bodies crush together. Cannon fire echoes from banks. Orders are lost in panic. You move because stopping means death. You lose police gloves, freeze, breath burns, but the deeper, world heavier than your saber ever was. Still, somewhere in Milan, lavender waits. 1814. France is tired, exhausted, worn. The name that once thundered across Europe now trembles at its edges. Allies shift, enemies negotiate. Flags change without notice, where vineyards cling to hillsides, stubborn against the memory of war. Through towns where church bells toll, as they always did, indifferent to banners overhead, your limp deepens in damp weather. Scars ache. Memories press against each joint, each muscle. You carry little, uniform worn, braids dulled. Police lost into Italy. The exchange is silent. A merchant tests balance, nods. Coins change hands. You step away, hip lighter. Absence unsettling in a way no battlefield ever was. Milan rises gradually before you. Roofs, towers, cobblestones, the square smaller than memory, the fountain worn smooth by centuries. Alcohol, rosemary, familiar. She is there, Anna Maria. Time has touched her gently. Few silver strands in dark hair, hands steady, eyes lift slowly, toward you. Recognition grows, delicate, patient. You came back, she says. No accusation, no triumph, just fact. Eyes tracing every scar, every line your years of war carved. You're late, she adds softly. I know, no husband, no dramatic vows, no theatrics. She simply never replaced you, you stay. At first, staying feels strange. Wake before dawn, expecting drums. Body tenses for orders that will not. Bottles counted. Herbs ground in mortar worn smooth. Feverfew, valerian, camphor, tincture of opium. healing instead of wounding. At night, past does not release you easily. You wake, reaching for reins. Heart races as if hooves thunder beneath you. She presses her palm against your chest. Summer heat across rooftops. Autumn, brittle golden leaves. Winter, firewood, stacked soup simmering. Young soldiers cross the square, polished boots, bright eyes. Hope you recognize it. Once carried it like a banner. Anna Maria squeezes your hand. You watch them and understand how easily glory seduces youth to hold a cup, to measure tinctures. Patience learned. Routine embraced. Survival becomes a quiet grace. You live long, longer than most hussars are meant to. When illness comes, it is quiet, a cough, a fever, nothing grand. She sits beside you, hand rests against your chest, counting breaths. Time, the square outside continues. Vendors shout, bells ring. Life refuses to pause, she outlives you by a year. In your old trunk, she keeps what remains. Letters bound in ribbon, pressed lavender, long faded. A button from your dolman. History remembers emperors. Paintings remember charges. By candlelight, believing against reason. If not for her, you would have remained beneath the snow by the Berezina, unmarked, unremembered. You were a hussar. You rode through smoke and fire. You felt earth quake beneath hooves. You believed yourself immortal. But you survived not because of your saber, not because of your horse, and because she believed it, you did.